All right, everybody, we're back with another episode of The Final Whistle, giving you a chance to see some coaches face to face and see how we communicate and connect with each other while we don't have the opportunity necessarily to do that face to face. I'm honored today to be able to talk to my boss, the guy that hired me, a good friend of mine, Jeff Whalen, the athletic director and head boys basketball coach at Heathwood Hall. So, Jeff, what's going on?
Not much. Just trying to get through this. It is different for sure. Uh, I went out to campus today to just mark the irrigation heads on the sprinkler heads on the field so that the fields can be aerated, and it's really different with no one out there. Um, it's a little depressing to be out there
I can believe it.
without anybody else.
I
So.
can certainly believe it. I sit back and think I haven't been on campus in probably a month, and you don't realize how much you miss a place that you go to every day or almost every day. And you know, it's tough, and not just being on campus, but being able to see obviously the people we work with and the kids and the families. It's a very different experience. But through all of this, you try to find ways to connect with them in some capacity. So what have you been able to do to be able to see the people that you would have seen on a pretty regular basis and talk to people that you would talk to on a pretty regular basis throughout all of this?
Well, first off, with our athletic staff, we've at least once a week had a Google Meet, which is good to see people's faces and be able to hear them and uh, you know talk about things that as I heard the other day on an athletic director conference that I was on, not the new normal, but the new abnormal. Um, so it's good that we're able to do that with the staff. Obviously, it's not like being there every day with them. I've been able to have a Google Meets with my basketball players. Most of them have gotten on. It is different doing that. Uh, they're not quite as animated and as talkative as they are when they're right there in front of you or they're in practice with you. So you can tell that it's different. Um, uh, so I can't wait to get back to that day that we can be together, near each one, have practices, really be able to interact without doing it over the computer.
I totally understand that. And I really like that phrase, the new abnormal. I hadn't heard that one. I've been asking a lot of people about trying to go back and evaluate what normal was. And that's something I've really struggled with. I don't know if there was a normal, but I know this doesn't feel like it. And whether that just be doing everyday things like practices or talking or just going to lunch or whatever that may be, it's definitely a uncharted territory that we're in and that we're moving towards. As we film this, we're a couple days out from the governor essentially announcing that schools won't be coming back the rest of this school year on campus. But for us, we've been doing virtual learning for now over a month. But as we start to get closer and closer to a time where we will be able to interact face to face again, what do you think that is going to be like? It's obviously not going to be just everything's back to how it was January, February. There are going to be changes. There are going to be some measures that have to be taken. But for you, as an administrator, as a coach, how do you foresee what the new abnormal may look like?
Well, when we do get back, it'll be a joyous occasion for sure to see everyone. What it's going to look like, I'm not sure. As I said, I've been listening to a lot of athletic directors across the country. There's all kinds of ideas out there. If you can't start sports in the fall, do you just skip sports in the fall, or do you maybe start January 1st, if that's a possibility, and go 3 sports seasons, but have shorter seasons so that you get all the sports in for the whole school year, which isn't a bad idea. There's not a lot of answers out there yet until um, I guess until we know when we will be able to be back, and then we'll have to make a decision how we can come back and what we'll be able to do. Will we have to teach in mask? Will we have to have distance learning in the classroom, in PE. So I think once we hear those things, we'll have a better chance to figure out how we're going to do things on campus. Um, I'm hoping that someday we'll definitely get back where it's the new abnormal, but we can still be around each other. We don't have to distance and wear masks and gloves and whatever. But so that's my hope. And I keep talking to other athletic directors, and I've got another one set up for next week with the Southern Association of Independent Schools to see what other schools in our area are going to do. So it's an open-ended question right now, and I don't have a really good answer.
Absolutely. And obviously, no one ever wants to be in a situation where you're dealing with an incredible time and an incredible situation and an incredible environment that we're all in. But I think a lot of us have been able to um, approach it with the right mindset and really find as many positives as you can in what's been overwhelmingly a negative situation. Um, what's a couple things that you've been able to do that you maybe wouldn't have, or a couple things that you've been able to enjoy doing while you've had maybe more personal time to yourself, or more time with your family, or more time at home?
Yeah, there has been some good things. Obviously, I've got to spend more time at the house cooking, even doing things in the yard, which has amazed my wife. It's what I think. One thing that I realized is how much time I have spent, or I have spent at school, and how much I've missed sometimes in the past with my family, because I eat dinner at 5 or 6 o'clock now, and that never happened before when we have events on campus. You're getting home at 7 or 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Um, so that's been a positive. Um, it's great to see the neighbors and the kids in the neighborhood outside playing. Because honestly, I did not know we had as many kids in our neighborhood because you just never saw them out that much. And now they're out there and they're doing things that reminds me of when I was young, when my boys were young. They're out in the woods running around. They're doing things. It's really neat to see that. Um, and I hate that it took this COVID-19 to get families back out in their yards and communicating, even if it's distantly in the neighborhood with each other, because everybody's running to their jobs all the time. And it's just slowed things down for sure. And I think part of that is good because, made friends with people that you really didn't know that even lived in your neighborhood. So that's been good. Um, Trying to work in my culinary skills has been a ball. Um, uh, Karen says I have a smile on my face when I'm cooking, and I do. I love it. So those have been things that I've been able to do.
Well, that's incredible. And I know you and I have been on some calls with our our work our work family and our friends, and been able to communicate and connect. And honestly, this whole concept stemmed from something you said in one of our last staff meetings, of how important it is for people to be able to see each other's faces. And that's something that I can speak for myself. I probably took for granted, and I didn't know how much I would grow to miss seeing people, grow to miss seeing my players and my kids and their families. And that's why this really started. And, when we're done with this, essentially what I'll do is I take this and I break it down and edit it a little bit. And I'll put it on YouTube. And we got a channel. Matter of fact, we're filming this on Friday. So the first episode actually is going to come out today. And then this will air the next week, but it'll be posted on all social media. So it'll go on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and give people that opportunity on different platforms to see other people communicating and connecting. Um, but with this being public, I always want to finish with giving, okay, the guests an opportunity just to say something publicly, whether it be to your friends, the community, the people you work with, the people you coach, your senior kids, whatever that may be. So what's something you'd want to share with people?
Yeah, I think one of the big things is just amazed at our administration at Heathwood, led by Chris Henchy, and how great they have been during this time. I know that with them and the division heads, what a great job they are doing with the remote learning, with all the divisions. I speak to Chris at least every day, every other day or so, and I don't know how he does it because I know he must have 1,000 questions in his mind, and I'm sure he's getting emails and all the time, and he's held up. And I really do appreciate his leadership as well as the rest of the administrative staff. Um, I do want to say for the seniors, you know, my heart goes out to you that you couldn't finish your senior year on campus in athletics. Um, I get a little emotional talking about that because those are kids you may not see and they'll be off to college next year. Um, and that interaction that you have with young people every day keeps you young. And that's been really, really hard, along with the interaction, as you said, with our coaches. So I just want to thank all our coaches and all the student athletes that we have, um, along with our administration, for everything they have done for our school. And I guess as you sit back and think about it, you hear family all the time at Heathwood, and it truly is a family. And so I just want to thank everyone in that family. That's parents, administration, faculty, staff, maintenance, whoever it may be. Thank you to all of you.
Well, we certainly appreciate you and love you, and we can't wait to get back together and you know hang out and have a couple pizzas and just be around each other again. But Jeff, I appreciate you. I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you. Your leadership, and I'm excited for the future. I know it's a tough time, but I am really looking forward to trying to navigate new waters, and that's something that I think people shouldn't take for granted. And hopefully, this will put a smile on a couple people's faces, and we'll all get to that point where we're looking forward to being able to attack a new situation. So I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you. And yeah, I can't wait to attack a new situation and see smiles on people's faces and be around them again. So thank you so much for doing this, Andrew.
No problem. So again, this is the final whistle. Again, make sure to look for us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hope you all are doing safe, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.